We think that it fits here. We think the house is very well sited and that it gives us what I think we were really looking for, which was the sense of inside outside. And so there were many attractions to the house as it was. And therefore, we've never really felt a need to change it significantly. My name is Betsy Cohen. We're now sitting in the house that Paul Rudolph designed and built together with Ralph Twitchell in 1956. It was one of several houses that were built on Casey Key. This one is the only one built on the north end of the Key. It's known as the Palmer area. Mrs. Potter Palmer came to Sarasota in 1910 on the train from Chicago, bought thousands of acres on the mainland and 2,000 feet on the north end of Casey Key. And so we are part of that 2,000 feet. I live here together with my husband, and from time to time, some combination of our children, 2 sons, their partners or wives, and 9 grandchildren who come in and out. The Darlings bought this property, but they were never comfortable in it. When we first saw it in 1981, all the terrazzo floors were covered with pink shag rug. And there was in the middle of the traditional Rudolph pit facility, and they had covered over the skylight on top of this space. 1993, we recognized that if we were going to spend some significant amount of time here, we really needed to attack the electrical system and the plumbing system, which I think expressed Paul Rudolph's vision, but the technology was not there to support it. Yes, we were familiar with Paul Rudolph and very much admiring Sarasota. One of the attractions of Sarasota was that it had been a center for 20th century architecture. So we thought that having a Paul Rudolph house and treating it with care was an organic approach to living here. The property is located on a very narrow strip of an island. And so we have both Little Sarasota Bay on the east side and Gulf of Mexico on the western side of the property. It's great to be able to experience both sides of the house and to see through the house, to really understand that you're sitting between 2 bodies of water no matter where you are. One of the remarkable things about the Rudolph house is really a reflection of Paul Rudolph's Asian sensibilities, and they were well known. He really achieved the inside-outside concept that is the basis of Japanese architecture with a remarkable fluidity, so that as with many of the houses built in the 50s, you can't find the front door. But once you find the front door and you walk in, you recognize that you're not really inside, but you're part of a larger natural property. And it's reflected on the east by this grove of remarkable trees and by the beach on the west. We bought this house when our children were anywhere from 8 to 13. We never envisioned that they would ever grow up or have their own families. When that, in fact, did happen, we recognized that we needed to expand the possibilities. So in '96, we bought the property next door, and that enabled us to build a house together with Toshika Mori, which accommodated our children. Now, we had another blank spot in that we never occurred to us, even if the children grew up, that they would have children. As that began to emerge, we didn't have any place to stay because they had taken all the space. And so we built what we affectionately call, I hope, the mother-in-law house, which is the second Toshiko Mori house. We had met Toshiko in Maine, and she was doing an addition for the Farnsworth Museum. So we had an opportunity to meet her and to become friendly with her, recognizing that she is, I think, among the purest modernist architects and had studied with Rudolph. We felt she would be respectful, but innovative. The first Mori house was built in 1999 to 2000. It was the first house in this area where there was a single concrete pour and all of the utilities were buried in that pour. It was the first time that was ever done in this area. We had an excellent, remarkable builder, Michael Walker, who remains very close to us at the house over the last 20-some years. We all feel a real sense of stewardship toward the Mori house, especially the one that was first built. It was just at the moment when the hurricane regulations were being updated and that the house had to be on the spot where the house that we were taking down was in fact located. We couldn't go outside that envelope. It was quite a small house. The footprint was small. And so she devised the mechanism of going, instead of up 6 feet, which was required, going up 12 feet, which allowed her to create a cantilevered space, which was larger than the actual footprint of the house. We had been very successful in the building of the first Mori house, and so it was very natural for us to continue that relationship. There are several interesting aspects to the house. All of the material reflects this original house in some pattern, either reversed or being used in a way that reminded one of this house, but not exactly in the same way. It's both an easy and a difficult place to live. If it's raining, it's not fun to run between the houses. But if the sun is shining and the weather is right, the property flows. It's a very serene property, and we've worked hard to keep it that way. The houses cover about 5 acres of land, but we've been very careful to allow the property itself to breathe. It's been a continual push because as we wanted to add houses or living space, we've been tempted to build a little bit more here, a little bit more there, but we've restrained ourselves because it's important that the whole property be able to breathe. We've really had a love affair with this property over the last 40 years. First, it was confined to the Rudolph house, which we took great joy in bringing to a modern state where it could be enjoyed, because as it was a constant battle. The family loved being here, and so it seemed to us to be natural to expand that opportunity. And rather than just put up a house, we thought we would do something that continued the Sarasota spirit, and that was the emergence of the Mori house. We think that not only our children, but their children really love this property. And so I would be surprised if they did not continue to visit it and maintain it. That being said, since I won't be here, I won't know.